are waiting on Commissioner Holton. Commissioner Carter, you might want to leave the meeting and rejoin, and we'll promote you again, but we are not getting any audio from you at this time.
Mike, have you heard from Commissioner Holton?
I have not.
Okay, thank you. Will you let me know when Commissioner Carter has come back in?
Yes, it's still showing that he's on our panel. So we got video from you, Commissioner Carter. Do you have audio? Commissioner Carter, can you raise your hand if you can hear me? Commissioner Carter, are you able to hear me? I don't believe he can, Commissioner Week, or Chair Week, sorry.
Okay.
I'm going to send him a direct message, one moment.
Okay. Mike, I got a text from Commissioner Carter that he cannot hear you.
Okay, are you willing to respond and let him know to log out and log back in, or potentially turn back his speakers? Or turn on his speakers, excuse me. Just to check the volume level. I don't have anything I can do on my side to troubleshoot, unfortunately.
Okay, just did that. just like to let everyone know out there that we are trying to get one commissioner set up. We're having some Zoom issues, so please be patient with us.
Commissioner Carter, thanks for rejoining us. Are you able to hear me now?
I can hear you now, yes.
Perfect, loud and clear on our end. And it looks like we still do not have Commissioner Holton, just so you're aware, Chair Weeks, but we do have a quorum.
Mr. Maloney, I just got a text from Commissioner Holton that he's having trouble as well, but he's in using his personal email account and the meeting ID.
All right, we found him. We just started promoting him right now.
Great.
Wonderful. Thank you all.
Thank you for joining us. We can troubleshoot later what was going on with your stage.
Exactly.
So
Okay.
now, let me go ahead and rename you before we start, and we'll get going.
Okay. Let me know, Mike, when you want to start.
I got to press start on a few things here. One moment.
Thank you, Mike.
Okay, this is Patty, the host, checking one more time, trying to eliminate some echoing. Can everybody hear me okay? Any weird echoing? Okay, good. Thank you, Chair Weeks.
All right, Chair Weeks, with that, we are ready to go at your discretion.
Okay, so if the commissioners could the video on, it would be great. And then, okay. So ready to go, Mike?
Yes, we are. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, everybody. So I would like to call the I would like to call to order the May 13th meeting of the Planning Commission and read the typical verbiage that we've been doing now for over a year. And that is due to the provisions of the governor's executive orders N-25-20 and N-29-20, which suspends certain requirements of the Brown Act and the order of the health officer of the County of Sonoma to shelter in place to minimize the spread of COVID-19, the planning commissioners will be conducting today's meeting in a virtual setting using Zoom webinar. Commissioners and staff are participating from remote locations and or practicing appropriate social distancing. Members of the public may view and listen to this meeting as noted on the city's website and as noted on the agenda. Members of the public wishing to speak during item 4, the public comment period, or during our public hearing items will be able to do so by raising their hand and will be given the ability to address the commission. Can you do roll call, please?
Yes, let the record reflect that all commissioners are present.
Great, thank you. Item 2 is study session, of which we have none. Item 3, approval of minutes. Are there any questions or comments or changes to the minutes? Okay, seeing none, they would be approved as submitted. Item 4 is public comments, and we now open the public comment period for any item not included in this meeting's agenda. If you wish to make a comment via Zoom, please select the raised hand button. If you are dialing in via telephone, please dial *9 to raise your hand. Each speaker has 3 minutes. The countdown timer will appear for the convenience of the speaker and viewers. Please make sure to unmute yourself when you're invited to do so by the host. Your microphone will be muted at the end of that countdown. Do we have any public comments?
Thank you, Chair Weeks. It does not look like anyone's raising their hand at this time. We do have one phone caller, and they are also not raising their hand.
Okay. Sorry. Okay, so then wait a minute or more, and if nobody else raises their hands. Okay, so we will go ahead and close the public comment period. And planning commissioners report. So I'd like to start off item 5 by reading the statement of purpose of the Planning Commission. The Planning Commission is charged with carrying out the California planning zoning laws in the city of Santa Rosa. Duties include implementing of plans, ordinances, and policies related to land use matters, assisting in writing and implementing the general plan and area plans, holding public hearings and acting on proposed changes to the zoning code, zoning map, general plan, tentative subdivision maps, and undertaking special planning studies as needed. And then item 5.2 are committee reports. Are there, Commissioner Carter, do you have a Waterways Advisory Committee report?
I do not.
Thank you. I do have a subdivision committee report, which myself and Commissioner Collier attended, and Commissioner Collier will be taking over from now on as the chair of that advisory committee. And we reviewed 2 items. One was a subdivision of a parcel on Barnes Road into 4 residential lots. And then the second item had to do with creating 2 legally separate duet homes in place of a duplex building that contained the units. And that was on, I can't remember the date it was on. It was, don't tell me. It was on the 28th, I believe. Yes, the 28th of April. Thank you. Are there any other, are there any commissioner reports, which is item 5.3? I have a couple. One is that the Merit Awards, which I believe I mentioned last time, nominations are now open. They will close July 10th. If you go to the Merit Awards site on the city's webpage, you can find all the information, and it's a great way to nominate people. And actually, I think what I will do is ask Mr. Maloney to send the link out to the commissioners, just so you have it. And then the other item had to do with the draft EIR that's coming up. I believe that's May 27th, and it's the El Noca project. If you haven't received your reading material and want a hard copy, please make arrangements with the staff to pick that up at the front counter at room 3. So any questions on that item? Okay. So we don't have any other items under that, under item 5. So item 6 are department reports. And I believe Mr. Rose is our person tonight.
That's correct. Thanks, Chair Weeks. I will be your liaison tonight. Andrew has the night off, although he did just message me and he is working. He just doesn't want to take a day off. So he's here if we need him as well. But well, welcome everyone. It's nice to see you. And I just had 2 quick announcements. One, I hope that you all saw an email that was sent earlier today from Supervising Planner Amy Lyle. It's about the general plan community workshops. We're going to be ramping those up here shortly. She sent out some background information. Those are done by district, by council member district. You're welcome to go to any of them though, if there are scheduling conflicts. If you're interested, certainly it'd be great to have you go for your respective districts. And also, we'll be monitoring those. So if there are any potential Brown Act conflicts, we'll make sure we watch those and we can alert you if anything like that happens, if you're picking dates that work and we have too many commissioners at any one meeting. So that was one item. The other is we definitely have not lost track of the need for a social get-together for this group. We always like to do that when we have incoming new members. So Commissioner Holton, we'd like to give you a proper introduction to the commission at a social gathering. Also say goodbye to outgoing members. Former Chair Cisco is who I'm referencing, and we definitely want to say goodbye to her as well. So as we all start inching closer to some more normal get-togethers in terms of the distancing and the regulations, we'll be watching for a time that works for everyone, give you plenty of lead time, and we'll put something nice together for that. So just wanted to mention it, and that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Rose. The next item is item 7, and that is statements of abstentions by commissioners. Is there any commissioners that need to abstain? Commissioner Krupke?
Yeah, I'm going to be abstaining from item 9.1 because of a possible perception of a financial bias.
Thank you. Okay, item 8, consent items. There are nothing under the consent item, so we move on to item 9, which is our scheduled item. So the first item is public hearing, Sunstone Advisors, Inc. Mitigated negative declaration, conditional use permit, and it is 330 Yolanda Avenue, conditional use permit 18-070. And City Planner CECAI will be leading us off.
Thank you,
Excuse
Chair
me.
Weeks.
Pardon me, Chair Weeks and Planner Monet. Hi, this is Ashley Crocker. I'm sorry. I believe this is a ex parte disclosure item.
Yes, you're right. I'm sorry.
Thank you. No problem.
This is an ex parte hearing, so let me find my verbiage. So if there are, I will go through the commissioners, and if there are any items you would like to announce, we'll go from there. Commissioner Carter?
I did visit the site, but I have nothing further to disclose.
Thank you. Commissioner Duggan?
I have nothing to disclose.
Thank you. Commissioner Holton?
I did visit the site and I have nothing to disclose.
Thank you. Commissioner Kalia?
I have visited the site and have nothing further to disclose.
Thank you. Vice Chair Peterson?
So I visited the site and have nothing further to disclose.
Thank you. And I also visited the site and have nothing further to disclose. Okay. So now, Ms. Shirkali, if you would like to lead us off.
Sure. I'm going to share my screen in a few seconds. Let's see. Can you confirm that you can see my screen?
Yes.
Monet, you are muted at this time.
Okay, sorry about that. Good afternoon, Chair Weeks and members of the Planning Commission. The project before you today is a conditional use permit for Sunstone Advisors located at 330, 350, and 358 Yolanda Avenue. The applicant is proposing to operate a cannabis facility that includes cannabis cultivation, distribution, manufacturing, and dispensary with delivery and on-site consumption within a proposed new building. The dispensary hours of operation will be from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and 3 other users have varying hours from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. The rendering here in the slide shows the elevation of the proposed building that will be reviewed by the zoning administrator at a later date. And the project site is located in the southeast quadrant and will span 2 parcels located on the south side of the Yolanda Avenue. The site is zoned light industrial, consistent with the general plan land use designation. And the project is located in an area that is primarily developed with industrial and commercial uses along Yolanda Avenue. And a brief summary of the project history. This conditional use permit application was submitted in 2018, and the project was located in an area of high concentration. The Cannabis Policy Subcommittee selected the project to move forward through the conditional use permit review process. However, it was appealed, and then City Council upheld the subcommittee decision, and the project was approved to move forward on March 2019 for conditional use permit process review. Also, to add to this list before you, that this site was also included in the general plan amendment last year, and the land use was amended from commercial to light industry. Here is the site for the proposed project. The red square in this slide shows the location for the proposed new building, and the size of the proposed building is approximately 8,400 square feet. The project has adequate parking with the inclusion of a parking covenant. And this slide shows the interior square footages allocated for each use. And here, the red rectangular is the area selected for on-site consumption. Pursuant to city code, no smoking or vaping is permitted on site. And the project has been noticed and the sign has been posted on site. I have received a late comment this morning. I'm going to just give you a brief summary of what the email was. I have received email from a person named Mike Raymond. He has included in this email that he's opposing. He's not agree with this project. His concerns were regarding the traffic in this area. And he stated in his email that the proposed projects in the area will make the traffic worse on the overpass where the Hearn Avenue is. And if there are no improvements being made to make that Hearn Avenue overpass for 4 lines. And he mentioned that traffic infrastructure should be addressed in the projects like this. And the planning and economic development, the proposed project has been reviewed in compliance with the California Environmental Quality Act, and the proposed project is within the scope of the previously adopted mitigated negative declaration for the Yolanda Industrial Project, certified by the City Council on December 8, 2020. City staff requested additional information regarding traffic, and the original traffic impact study was prepared for the Yolanda Industrial Project General Plan Amendment and Rezoning, and was included in the appendices of the mitigated negative declaration, which was approved by the City Council. W-Trans provided an addendum to respond to questions raised by the staff during the review of this conditional use permit, and concluded the previously conducted traffic impact study remains valid, and it is anticipated that all study for the intersections in that area will operate at acceptable service levels. And with that, the Planning and Economic Development Department recommends that the Planning Commission, by resolution, approve the conditional use permit to allow a cannabis retail dispensary and delivery with on-site consumption, cannabis manufacturing level 1 non-volatile, cannabis cultivation, and cannabis distribution within a 5,893 square foot area of a proposed new 8,441 square foot commercial building located at 330 and 358 Yolanda Avenue. And that was my presentation. Staff is available to answer questions. Here's my contact information if anyone wants to contact me. I know Alicia Rose is the applicant, and she has a brief presentation, a verbal presentation today to give it to you. And that was my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Unless there are any questions for staff, we could go ahead with the applicant's presentation. So, okay, so let's go ahead with the applicant's presentation. If you could promote the applicant.
Yes, if they can please raise their hand. We have quite a few people in here.
Oh, yes.
Thank you.
Okay, the applicant has been given the ability to go ahead and unmute whenever you're ready.
And if you could please state your name.
Hi, my name is Alicia Rose Kelly. I'm so pleased to be here. And let me know, are we ready to go?
Yes.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much. It is an incredible moment for me. We've been waiting for 3 very long years and are thrilled to finally be at this place in the process. I know that a lot of us throughout the city have expended a great deal of time and effort to get to this point, and I'm grateful for everyone who's had a hand in bringing this exceptional project to light so far. Together, I believe we're creating something important that will define a new standard for an entire industry while solidifying Santa Rosa as the cultural hub around our county's most highly prized agricultural products through the construction of a world-class immersive destination that supports holistic health and wellness. In 2018, City Council unanimously supported this project because of its merit to renew and redevelop a long underutilized corridor at the gateway to our city, while also creating a focal point for community development, education, and health, all while meeting and exceeding the city's general plan provisions. This project has also had unanimous support because of its vision, innovation, and timeliness for developing a world-class destination to serve the wants and needs of our community, as well as the 15 million wine country tourists who come to our region each year looking for new experiences and ways to learn about cannabis in a guided and educational setting. I've crafted this vision for a winery-like experience for sacred plant medicine, bringing together 20 years of experience in developing profitable wineries in both Napa and Sonoma counties, and 6 years running a vertically integrated, direct-to-consumer, retail-focused, conscious cannabis company. I know people are hungry for this type of experience because we've been conducting these experiences for people and consumers and patients for years now, and interest is only growing. We have an incredibly talented, informed, and experienced team, including the landowner, Alan Henderson, to help bring this vision to life in the best way possible. I had prepared some beautiful photos to give you a sense of how the project is being developed from the interior look and feel. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to present them today, but imagine, if you will, walking through the large welcoming front doors of this facility, checking in at a registration desk to ensure that you're over the age of 21, and then entering a thoughtfully curated retail storefront designed around your needs and desires as a consumer. Walk up to the bar for a quick purchase as you glance through the windows and watch the process of how we create the perfect pre-roll or handcraft one of our award-winning elixirs. Or wander through the beautiful display tables that showcase products based on effect for easy shopping, tables that identify products for sleep, pain, stress, or anxiety. Or perhaps you arrive at check-in with your group of friends and family for your 90-minute tasting experience. Just like a winery tasting, you'll enter this beautiful, bright courtyard space, feeling both excited and comfortable, surrounded by plants and natural elements, as your sommelier or bud tender guides you to gaze through the glass greenhouse at the end of the courtyard, a botanical garden featuring educational placards that offer foundational knowledge about this important plant and things like sun-grown and living soil cultivation. Seated at your table, your guided educational experience will begin with CBD as you learn about the difference between things like hemp and cannabis and the fact that CBD is the antidote to the high of THC. You'll learn about the difference between distillate and broad spectrum, terpenes and cannabinoids, and the different dosing and delivery methods of the myriad of products available to you on the market today. Your experience will end with another helping of CBD to ensure you're sober and not at all impaired before you finalize your purchase and head on your way. Not only a thoughtful, intentionally designed building with comprehensive odor, security, safety, and operational plans, we're fully prepared to comply with all the conditions that the staff has presented to ensure a safe facility with sustainable operations. This project ensures that the city of Santa Rosa will continue to be seen at the forefront of the Northern California's multi-trillion-dollar ag-based tourism economy, and we're thrilled to bring innovative and thoughtful project to fruition. Thank you so much for your interest and support. And I'm happy to answer any questions, of course.
Do any of the commissioners have questions of Ms. Kelly before we open the public comment or the public hearing? Okay, seeing none, I will go ahead and open the public hearing. If you wish to make a comment via Zoom, please select the raised hand feature. If you are dialing in via telephone, please dial *9 to raise your hand. Speaker has 3 minutes. A countdown timer will appear for the convenience of the speaker and the viewers. Please make sure to unmute yourself when you're invited to do so. Your microphone will be muted at the end of that countdown. Do we have anybody wishing to make public comment?
Chair Weeks, no one is raising their hand at this time.
Okay, and do we have any voicemail public comments?
No.
Okay. We'll wait just a minute or so. Okay, so with that, I will go ahead and close the public hearing portion and bring it back to the commission. Do any of the commissioners have questions of either staff or the applicant? Vice Chair Peterson?
So I don't know if this is for staff necessarily. I did have a question about the traffic study, specifically related. I'm having a hard time sort of piecing together the explanation of the baseline plus that would incorporate the 3 additional projects. So I know that's a very non-specific question, but the sort of the math on that is eluding me at this point. If someone can walk me through that.
Okay, I know that we have Barry from W-Trans available. He's the one who prepared that document and he can explain that to you. Also, we have from city staff that work in traffic division and they can go over that. But I would suggest that Barry from W-Trans to start and answer that question.
Thank you.
Thank you. Barry, can you please raise your hand? Thank you. It just brings you to the top of our list so I can find you. And you now have permission to speak. You just need to unmute at your leisure. Thank you.
If you could please state your name.
Okay, Barry Bergman. I'm a senior planner with W-Trans. So I'll start to answer the question, but let me know if you have anything else. So with the baseline analysis that we did, we worked with city staff to come up with a list of projects that are approved in the near term and to analyze those without and with the project. And then as far as this most recent addendum, there were 3 projects that were recently identified that were not included in that analysis. So what we did was we looked at the level of service with the baseline as we studied it, but then we considered what was the trip generation associated with those 3 projects, and then the trip distribution to see which intersections that traffic would be routed to. And it was determined that given the number of trips, that the intersection that was closest to being not acceptable operations was Yolanda and Petaluma Hill Road. But given the number of trips that would be routed through that intersection, it would not have affected the overall conclusion.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other questions of the applicant or staff? Commissioner Carter?
Yeah, I noted that there's a vacant 2,280 feet in the proposed structure. And the first part is for the applicant. Is there an intended future use of that vacant area? And the second part is for staff. And the question is, would that require a revision to the use permit should it be granted to activate that portion of the building?
Sorry, I was on mute. This is Alicia, the applicant. We had originally intended to utilize that space for something like a lifestyle market to showcase other local artisan goods from our county and region. If we do decide to proceed with that, we will probably have a secondary operator because we will certainly have enough to do on the commercial cannabis side. And that will not need a separate use permit.
Commissioner, I'll just tag onto that answer and just to respond to your question for staff. Yeah, it really depends. I think what we would do, clearly we would look at what the proposal would be. If in any way it touches on a conditionally permitted use, then certainly we would direct the applicant that an amendment would be necessary. But we would have to evaluate exactly what that is when they come in.
Any other questions before we would entertain a motion? Would somebody like to make a motion? Commissioner Duggan?
Okay, oops, hold on here. I've got to call up the resolution. I'll move a resolution of the Planning Commission of the City of Santa Rosa approving a conditional use permit for Sunstone Advisors Incorporated to operate a commercial cannabis retail dispensary with delivery and on-site consumption, cannabis manufacturing level 1 non-volatile, cannabis cultivation, and cannabis distribution within 5,893 square feet of a proposed new 8,441 square foot building located at 358 Yolanda Avenue, assessors parcels numbers 044-072-007 and 044-072-008, file number CUP 18-070, and waive further reading.
Thank you. Is there a second? Commissioner Collier? So that was moved by Commissioner Duggan, second by Commissioner Collier. Any comments? Commissioner Duggan, do you have any other comments you would like to make?
No, I can make all the findings that are required. I think we sort of anticipated this project would come forward when the general plan was amended last year, and I think it seems fine, and I'm happy for the expanded traffic study. The information that was provided there was very helpful, so I'm in favor of the project.
Thank you. Commissioner Carter?
I too can make all the required findings and find the staff analysis and the supplemental traffic information to support the proposal, and I'll be supporting the project.
Thank you. Commissioner Holton?
I too, with my fellow commissioners, can support all the findings, and I also support this project.
Thank you. Commissioner Collier?
I can make all the required findings and do support the project. I also think that this is a very interesting model of the dispensary, and I'm interested to see how it plays out by the design. It looks really quite nice.
Thank you. Vice Chair Peterson?
So I think that there's kind of two things that stick out to me with this project, and then sort of the general area. With this project and a lot of these projects that we see, I do struggle with the traffic study. I mean, I am not a traffic engineer, but some of the findings don't seem to jive with reality based on what we're seeing in terms of the development along this corridor. I think especially with the planned housing developments, we know the in and out's going to be going in. I will accept it as adequate. I think I can't find any flaws with it. So on that sense, I can make the finding. But again, I am a little skeptical about what this will look like before these improvements that are cited in the traffic study are made. And then relatedly, I know that this has come up before, and the issue is over concentration. So currently in the ordinance, my understanding is that over concentration concept really only applies to retail dispensaries. So while this does have a retail dispensary, the other cannabis uses along the Yolanda Avenue corridor are production, manufacturing, things like that. So the over concentration doesn't apply, but we're seeing in one sort of street, one area of town, a really high concentration of cannabis businesses of various kinds. I think anyone who's watched more than one of these meetings knows that I am certainly not against cannabis businesses coming to Santa Rosa. I am a little concerned about the concentration in this one area, and it seems a little contrary to the purpose of the cannabis ordinance, but as written does not violate the cannabis ordinance. So with those sort of hesitations on the record, I can make all the required findings to support this project.
Thank you. I also can make all the required findings. And like Commissioner Colley, I'm interested to see how this concept plays out. One of the things I would like to mention is I know that we've been looking at cannabis items for a few years now. And so comments like Commissioner Peterson had are things that we need to perhaps look at addressing in the future with the ordinance, with the council. So, but that's for another day. And I probably said more than I should have. Ashley Crocker. Anyway, so if we could go ahead and call the roll call vote, please.
Sure thing. Thank you, Commissioner Chair Weeks. And we'll go alphabetical order, starting with Commissioner Carter.
Aye.
Commissioner Duggan.
Aye.
Commissioner Holton.
Aye.
Commissioner Kalia.
Aye.
Commissioner Okrepke is abstained. Vice Chair Peterson.
Aye.
And Chair Weeks.
Aye. So that passed with 6 ayes and 1 abstention, Commissioner Krepke abstaining. So we can move on to our second item, which is Stony Point Wellness. So we'll bring Commissioner Krepke back, and this item is item 8.2. It is an ex parte item. So if we could go ahead and make any disclosures, we'll start with Commissioner Carter.
Yes, I visited the site as I do on many Wednesday mornings and have nothing further to disclose.
Thank you. Commissioner Duggan.
Well, even though I missed Commissioner Carter out there, I too visited the site and have nothing further to disclose.
You, Commissioner Holton.
I also visited the site and I have nothing further to disclose.
Commissioner Kalia.
I visited the site and have nothing further to disclose.
Commissioner Krepke.
I have nothing to disclose.
Vice Chair Peterson.
I also visited the site and have nothing further to disclose.
And I also visited the site and have nothing further to disclose. So our presenter, I believe, is Adam Ross.
Yes, thank you, Chair Weeks, members of the Planning Commission. I'm Adam Ross, project planner for this item before you. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and pull up the PowerPoint. Okay, do you hear me? Okay, great. So the item before you is Stony Point Wellness, located at 411 Stony Point Road. Again, I'm Adam Ross, acting senior planner with the City of Santa Rosa. It is a cannabis retail facility with delivery. So Stony Point Wellness is a dispensary which proposes to operate a cannabis retail facility with delivery. It's within a 2,270 square foot tenant space of an existing 7,866 square foot building in the Stony Point Shopping Center. The proposed hours of operation are 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., 7 days a week. The applicant does again propose delivery service. They do not propose on-site consumption, and there are no exterior modifications proposed with the project. The location is in the northwest quadrant of the city, near Highway 12. As you can see, the star indicates the general location. Here's an aerial image. As you can see, Stony Point Road and Occidental Road. The blue outline signifies the parcel within the shopping center, and the yellow outline indicates the approximate outline of the retail tenant space. The general plan and zoning for the site, the general plan is retail and business service with an overlay of medium density residential. The zoning is CG, general commercial, which allows cannabis retail facilities, cannabis retail businesses when approved by a conditional use permit for this project. The site is not within 600 feet of any schools. The closest is 1,300 feet as the crow flies away from parcel line. So that's not just from the tenant space, and it's not within the 600-foot setback requirement for other cannabis retail facilities. Project history, there was a pre-application neighborhood meeting held on June 10th. And shortly after, on November 16th, the application was submitted to the Planning and Economic Development Department. There was a notice of application associated with this project, and there was also a notice for the Planning Commission meeting here tonight in accordance with Zoning Code Section 20-66. Here's the overall site plan here. As you can see, if you follow my cursor, there's the kind of shaded area indicating the location of the dispensary within the Stony Oak Shopping Center. And there's the use next door is an existing drive-through facility, just for clarification, that is existing for a drive-through retail service, not associated with this use at all. Here's the site plan. There's an entrance in the back, which I'll show on the next slide, but the customer entrance will be on the front. The rear will be for, as you can see here, will be for employees only and deliveries as they're pre-scheduled for the site. As you see, there's this is the area where the public will be. Everything else supports the business operation. This stairway goes up to a separate office use for the site. So there's an entrance here, and then here's the actual entrance to the dispensary. For, again, limited access on this backside for employees and scheduled deliveries. Here's elevations for reference. We've got the entrances in the middle. There's no exterior modifications proposed for the site. And again, here's that office above, which is accessed through the rear. The trip analysis indicated that this dispensary by itself is 48 p.m. peak hour trips. As you may be aware of, AM peak hour trips are very low for these because they are not allowed to open before 9 a.m., which then contributes to a very low AM peak hour trips. This table also indicates that when considering the previous use and subtracting it from the, I'm sorry, this one indicates the pass-by trips, reduces it well below the 50 peak hour trips, which would trigger a traffic impact study. So net new trips with pass-by are 24 p.m. peak hour trips, and net new trips without pass-by are 39 peak hour trips. The parking for the site meets zoning code standards. The site was developed comprehensively as a commercial shopping center. Therefore, all uses, no matter what, are subject to 201 space per 250 gross leasable square feet, with a total of just under 95,000 square feet. The requirement is 379, and the total provided on site in the shopping center is 381. There are parking spaces here and here around the site, but anyone is allowed to use any parking space on the site for this use. So same thing with everyone else. During the pre-application neighborhood meeting, public correspondence, there were 6 members of the public in attendance. All were in support of the project. Since that time, since notice of application and noticing of this public hearing, there was only 1 email received in opposition for the project. I should clarify, there was another phone call with a concerned resident about the proposed use. They were encouraged to participate in here today as well. Environmental review. The project's been reviewed and found in compliance with the California Environmental Quality Act for CECAI under sections 15303, which is a class 1 categorical exemption. It's in that it's a use and structure involving a negligible expansion of an existing use, and it will not result in significant impacts. And section 15303, which is a class 3 categorical exemption, and it involves a change in use of an existing building. With that, the Planning and Economic Development Department recommends that the Planning Commission, by resolution, approve a conditional use permit to allow a cannabis retail facility with delivery at 411 Stony Point Road. Again, here's my contact information, and I'm here to answer any questions. The applicant is here, and they have a brief presentation as well.
Mr. Ross. Do any of the commissioners have questions of staff before we hear from the applicant? Seeing nobody, if we could go ahead and hear from the applicant.
Yeah, can you hear me all right?
Yes, if you could introduce yourself, that would be great before you start.
My name is Eric Eust. I'm the applicant for Stony Point Wellness. First off, I wanted to thank Adam for that presentation. I think that was a pretty accurate, thorough job of explaining sort of how our application fits into the Santa Rosa cannabis and retail cannabis framework. I also wanted to thank the commission, not only for hearing this application, but for also helping to bring cannabis in general sort of out from underground and into a legal environment, a regulated environment. I think that legal cannabis benefits the community, the people of Santa Rosa, because it gives the people of Santa Rosa access to cannabis products that are tested and regulated, properly measured, properly dosed, and it also helps to generate tax revenue, all of which I think is good for Santa Rosa. So with that, my name is Eric Eust, and I'm excited to present to you the proposal for a new dispensary in Santa Rosa, Stony Point Wellness. Okay, so location of the proposed site. If you're familiar with Santa Rosa, you're probably also familiar with the Stony Point Shopping Center. Oliver's Market is in there, CVS, Carl's Jr., Exchange Bank. In addition, a bunch of other excellent businesses in that shopping center. It's actually I think it's a really nice, active shopping center of Santa Rosa. The proposed use is currently It's in a separate building of that shopping center. And the suite is currently occupied by Joe Video, a really good video store that's operated there for many, many years. To the left of the suite is KFC, and to the right is CS Market and Liquor. And up above, as Adam was saying, is an office use. Next slide. So why we chose this location? We believe that this location will mesh really well with the community, with the neighborhood, and with the shopping center. We think it fits the cannabis framework, or the ordinance and the framework that Santa Rosa has put together for retail cannabis really well. The property is zoned commercial. There's no nearby sensitive uses. There's adequate parking. I think in total, the shopping center has 381 spaces. I've never seen the parking lot completely full. It's an active shopping center, but there's always some parking. The proposed dispensary is easily accessed by pedestrians, bicycles, and vehicles. There's sidewalks that surround the whole shopping center, some of which are protected by landscape strips. There's bicycle lanes on Occidental Road and Stony Point Road, and vehicles can easily access the shopping center as well. There's signalized intersections, protected turns, and there's also public transportation that potential customers could use to get to the dispensary. I think there's 3 different bus stops, 2 different bus routes that could drop off a potential customer literally right in front of the dispensary, which is good because it helps to promote alternative means of transportation should a resident want to use that. In addition, why we believe that this site would work well with the community and with Santa Rosa is that it's in an area, this is important to us, it's in an area where shopping already exists. And it sort of represents, I guess, a landmark or a milestone in cannabis regulation and legalization, because no longer do you have to go into, a dark lit area in some place that may not be zoned correctly for commercial retail. Now you can, get your groceries with the approval of this dispensary. You could get your groceries. You could go to the bank, maybe get a bite to eat, and in the same area, in the same manner, you can also get your cannabis products. And the proposed dispensary also meets all of the requirements of the ordinance, such as the entrance being visible from the public right of way, and all the other requirements. Next slide. Meet the applicant. Just a little bit about myself. My name is Eric Eust. I was born and raised in Santa Rosa, Bennett Valley. I went to Yalupa, Strawberry, Slater, and then Montgomery. I have a bachelor's of science degree from California State University, Chico, in civil engineering. I have experience with retail development, and I also have experience with cannabis. I believe cannabis benefits the community, both recreationally and medicinally. And for that reason, that's why we're proposing this project. Next slide. So I've intentionally left the presentation somewhat brief and have decided to make myself available for any members of the public or the commission that may have questions.
Are there any questions of the applicant before we open the public hearing? Okay, seeing none, I will go ahead and open the public hearing. And if you wish to make a comment via Zoom, please select the raised hand button. If you are dialing in via telephone, please dial *9 to raise your hand. Each speaker has 3 minutes. A countdown timer will appear for the convenience of the speaker and viewers. Please make sure to unmute yourself when you are invited to do so. Your microphone will be muted at the end of that countdown. Mr. Host, do we have any hands raised?
Hi, Chair Weeks. We do not, and I will let you know that we have 1 member of the public in attendance.
So with that, I will go ahead and close the public hearing and bring it back to the commission. Are there any other questions before we entertain a motion for either the applicant or staff? Okay, seeing none. If somebody would make a motion. And I'll speak at once. Thank you, Commissioner Duggan.
I'll do it.
Thank you.
I'll move a resolution of the Planning Commission of the City of Santa Rosa making findings and determinations and approving a conditional use permit for Stony Point Wellness to operate a cannabis retail dispensary and delivery business within a 2,270 square foot tenant space located at 411 Stony Point Road, Assessor's Parcel Number 146-040-022, file number CUP 20-066, and waive further reading.
Thank you. Is there a second? Commissioner Holton, seconds. Thank you. So we'll go bring it back to the commission. And for any comments, Commissioner Carter, we'll start with you.
I guess in general, I support the project and can make most of the findings or all of the findings necessary to approve the use permit. I do wish to express a little bit of skepticism about the parking, not based on any parking analysis. I see the analysis that says there are 2 spaces in excess of what's required by the zoning code, but my experience on Wednesday mornings is that it's really hard to park at the shopping center there. So I would urge the applicant to think about ways to get people to and from the business without having to park in the shopping center that can become pretty crowded at times. But in general, I do support the project and can make the findings.
Thank you. Commissioner Duggan?
I also can make the required finding, and I sort of share Commissioner Carter's concern about the parking, although when I visited the site, I went to a part of the parking lot that I don't usually visit. I usually visit the part that's near the CVS and Oliver's, and this area of the parking over near this particular building was pretty empty, which was a surprise. So maybe you just have to drive around the lot a little bit. So I can make all the required findings and am in support of the project.
Thank you.
I can also make all the findings to support this project. However, tentatively, my concerns are a little different than parking. Actually, my concerns are related to turning in and out of the shopping center. And I would definitely recommend that the applicant make sure that you kind of assess what the traffic flow situation looks like turning directly out of that parking lot from KFC, and also turning into that parking lot off of Stony Point. Right there, I see an accident happen almost every 20 to 30 minutes. I mean, it's a very, very high traffic area. And where the sidewalk, the grade on the sidewalk is so steep that you get a mixture of either cars flying in there and almost lifting off air, or you get people that go so slow that they almost get hit by the oncoming traffic to the other side. So I'm really, really concerned about the potential in the future for the traffic easement. Believe me, if everybody went down to the stoplight and turned left into the other side where CVS is, no concerns. However, just go down there for a day and see for yourself. But I can make all the findings to support this project, and I do support this project.
Thank you. Commissioner Collier?
Thank you. I can make all the required findings and will be supporting the project. I agree with Commissioner Carter and Commissioner Duggan. It depends on what time of day that you are in that parking lot, but it is a high-use parking lot, high-use area, and it can get a little cramped at times, but it's kind of, I mean, according to the zoning code, it has more than enough parking, so that would be required. So with that, I will be supporting the project.
Thank you. Commissioner Krupke?
Yeah, I don't have much to add that my fellow commissioners haven't already spoke on. So I can make all the required findings and will be in support of the project.
Thank you. Mr. Peterson?
As the years go on, these types of projects, I think, get more and more routine. Certainly for me, I think that this was a good application. I think it's a nice reuse of an existing building in a location that makes sense for this type of use. With that, I can make all the required findings.
Thank you. And I also am going to be supporting the project and can make all of the required findings. I think it is a good location. It's a full service shopping center. I do agree with Commissioner Duggan and Carter and Kalia about parking, especially on Wednesdays, which is senior day at Oliver's. So anyway, with that, it was the first was by Commissioner Duggan, second by Commissioner Holton. Mr. Maloney, would you like to call roll?
Thank you, Chair Weeks. Start with Commissioner Carter.
Aye.
Commissioner Duggan.
Aye.
Commissioner Holton.
Aye.
Commissioner Kelly.
Aye.
Commissioner Okrepke.
Aye.
Vice Chair Peterson.
Aye.
Chair Weeks.
Aye. So that concludes our last scheduled item. And unless there's anything by staff, I see Mr. Rose coming back.
Just came back to say there's nothing further from staff. Thank you all. Wonderful meeting. Appreciate everything and have a great rest of your night and a great weekend.
Great, thank you. With that, I will go ahead and adjourn the meeting to our next scheduled meeting 2 weeks from today. Thank you.